Let's jump into it. Number 1. Over-apologizing. Saying sorry too often might look like good manners, but usually it's your nervous system running on autopilot. If you grew up in an environment where mistakes were met with anger, punishment, or even rejection, apologizing became your shield. It's your way of saying, "Please don't be mad at me." The problem is, when you apologize for things that aren't even your fault, you shrink yourself down. You hand over your power and let other people decide what's wrong. Over-apologizing can also make your words carry less weight, because if you're always sorry, people stop listening when you really mean it. True confidence comes when you realize not everything is your fault. You don't need to cushion every moment with sorry. Sometimes silence is enough. And sometimes, instead of sorry, the most powerful word you can use is a simple thanks. Number 2. People-pleasing. On the outside, being the nice one looks admirable. You're helpful, generous, and always available. But people-pleasing isn't the same as kindness. Real kindness is a choice. People-pleasing is survival. If you grew up believing that love, safety, or acceptance depended on keeping others happy, your brain wired itself to always say yes. The problem is, living like this drains you. You sacrifice your time, your needs, and even your sense of self just to keep the peace. It feels like love, but it's really scary wearing a smile. And the cost is exhaustion, resentment, and sometimes not even knowing who you are anymore. Here's the truth. Saying yes doesn't make you valuable. It makes you tired. The people who truly love and respect you don't need you to bend over backwards for them. Putting yourself first isn't selfish. It's healing. And it's the only way to build relationships that actually last. Number 3. Struggling to say no. If saying no feels like a crime, it's not because you're weak. It's because your brain learned that no equals danger. Maybe when you were younger, saying no got you yelled at, punished, or guilt-tripped. So now, even when you're drowning, you say yes to avoid conflict. Your nervous system treats boundaries like landmines. But here's the thing. Boundaries aren't punishments. They're guides. They tell people how to treat you, and they protect your time and energy. Saying no doesn't make you mean, selfish, or difficult. It makes you real. And the people who matter, they won't leave you just because you said no. They'll respect you more. Think of boundaries as doors instead of walls. They let the right people in and keep the wrong people out. Every no you give is really a yes to yourself. That's not rejection. That's self-respect in action. Number 4. Constant overthinking. Overthinking feels like responsibility. You play out every what if, analyze every detail, and prepare for every outcome. But this isn't you being careful. It's your nervous system stuck in survival mode. When your brain learns that danger can show up at any moment, it trains itself to scan constantly. That's why you replay conversations, question your decisions, or rehearse disasters that haven't even happened. It's exhausting. Overthinking doesn't protect you, it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck in loops instead of moving forward. You burn energy solving problems that may never exist. Recognizing the cycle is the first step. When you catch yourself spiraling, pause and ask, is this problem real? Or is my brain predicting danger? Most of the time, the answer will free you. Trusting yourself and taking imperfect action is scarier at first. But it's also how life actually moves forward. Number 5. Isolating yourself. Pulling away from people can feel like control. After all, if you're alone, no one can judge you, hurt you, or betray you. For someone who's been let down or rejected before, isolation feels safer. But while it protects you from pain, it also blocks you from joy, connection, and support. Trauma tricks you into believing loneliness is freedom when, really, it's a cage. The silence that once felt protective slowly becomes heavy. And as human beings, we are wired for connection. Healing doesn't mean throwing yourself into crowds. It means testing the waters slowly, with safe people. Start small. Share a little. Rebuild trust step by step. Community doesn't erase pain, but it reminds you you're not alone in it. Isolation may feel safe, but connection is what makes life rich. Vulnerability is scary, but it's also the bridge to real healing. Number 6. Being a perfectionist. Perfectionism often gets praised as ambition, but underneath, it's usually fear. If you grew up in an environment where mistakes brought criticism, shame, or punishment, your brain learned early that errors equal danger. So now, you over-prepare, obsess over details, and set impossible standards not to be excellent, but to stay safe. The problem is that perfection doesn't exist. You're constantly chasing a moving target, which leaves you exhausted and never satisfied. The more you push, the more anxious you become, because no achievement ever feels enough. Real growth happens when you shift from fear to acceptance. Instead of asking yourself, "Is this flawless?" ask, "Is this good enough to move forward?" Progress, not perfection, is what creates success. True confidence isn't in getting everything right, it's in trusting yourself to handle mistakes when they come. That's where freedom lives. Number 7. Dissociation. Have you ever found yourself staring into space, forgetting chunks of conversations, or feeling like you're watching life happen from outside your body? That's dissociation, a trauma response your brain uses to shield you from overwhelm. Back when things felt unsafe or unbearable, checking out was survival. It created distance between you and the pain. The tricky part is that even after the danger is gone, your brain might keep flipping that switch. So now, zoning out happens at school, work, or even with people you love. It can leave you feeling disconnected from yourself and others. Healing means gently retraining your brain to stay present. Grounding techniques help, like deep breathing, moving your body, or noticing small details around you. The goal isn't to fight dissociation, but to remind your nervous system that the present is safe. Over time, your brain learns it doesn't need to escape anymore. Number 8. Flinching easily. If you jump at loud noises, flinch when someone touches you unexpectedly, or feel on edge when things change suddenly, it's not because you're too sensitive. It's your nervous system on high alert. Trauma can leave your body wired to expect danger, even when none is there. Back then, being hyper-aware was protective, and it helped you survive. But now, the same response makes everyday life stressful. Instead of judging yourself for being jumpy, see it for what it is, your body trying to protect you. The good news is that your system can be retrained. Calming routines, deep breathing, and safe, consistent environments signal to your body that it doesn't have to stay in fight or flight mode forever. Healing doesn't mean you'll never be startled. It means your body can eventually relax, trust the present, and stop bracing for disaster that isn't coming. Number 9. Overworking. Being busy all the time looks productive, but often it's a clever disguise for avoidance. Work gives you something to focus on, so you don't have to sit still with painful thoughts or memories. So you hustle, pile on responsibilities, and convince yourself exhaustion is a badge of honor. But here's the truth. Busyness doesn't always equal success. It can mean you're running from stillness. The problem is, burnout sneaks in. You sacrifice your health, relationships, and peace of mind just to keep going. Rest feels scary at first because silence gives old pain room to surface. But rest is not laziness, it's healing. Learning to pause, breathe, and actually enjoy life is just as valuable as working hard. Balance is the real flex. Hustle culture lies. Your worth isn't measured in how drained you are. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is slow down. Number 10. Trouble trusting others. When trust has been broken, especially early in life, your brain often learns one rule. It's safer to rely only on me. That self-protection makes sense when betrayal or disappointment has been constant. The problem is, the walls you build to keep people out also keep love, support, and closeness out. Even when you meet good, trustworthy people, your guard stays up. Independence is valuable, but extreme self-reliance can leave you feeling lonely, exhausted, and disconnected. Healing trust doesn't happen overnight. It's about testing the waters slowly, allowing safe people to prove themselves over time. It also means reminding yourself that not everyone is the past. Yes, trust is a risk, but it's also the foundation of real connection. You don't have to hand over your heart instantly, but opening the door, even a little, gives relationships the chance to actually heal you. We'll leave it there for today. More of this coming soon, so do consider subscribing.